The sanctuary is a lonely place these days since we've stopped in-person worship and in-person gatherings across the campus. The sanctuary is the architectural center of our worship. It's what houses worship. And worship is the central act of the congregation, out of which everything else we do flows. Both our outreach to the world and our inreach to the community flows out of the common values we hold up in worship. And in these days of being sheltered in place at home, I'm wondering, what is the core of our being, each of us individually? And out of that, what is the core of our church? One of my favorite authors is Parker J. Palmer. He's a Quaker, living now in Madison, Wisconsin, a prolific author. This is from one of his many books called A Hidden Wholeness. He says, "Philosophers haggle about what to call this core of our humanity, but I am no stickler for precision. Thomas Merton called it true self. Buddhists call it original nature or big self. Quakers call it the inner teacher or the inner light. Hasidic Jews call it a spark of the divine. Humanists call it identity and integrity. In popular parlance, people often call it soul. What we name it matters little to me, since the origins, nature, and destiny of call it what you will are forever hidden from us. But that we name it matters a great deal, for it is the objective ontological reality of selfhood, which keeps us from reducing ourselves or each other to biological mechanisms, psychological projections, sociological constructs, or raw material to be furnished into whatever society needs, diminishments of our humanity that constantly threaten the quality of our lives." So he says that at the center of our being goes by many names. Call it light, call it love, call it soul. But it is that essential part of us, what is essentially you, the really real of you, what is essentially me, the really real of me. These days of so much anxiety and fear in our land, it can be difficult to stay in touch with that really real within us, because so much is pulling us in so many directions. Now, anxiety and fear are feelings that many of us are having, and they're appropriate feelings to the situation, and we need to feel them. And we need to center ourselves in who and what we really are. Just as we're discovering in the church that who and what we really are is continuing despite the separation. We continue to worship each week despite not being able to gather in person. We continue to have classes and meetings and events on the internet in new ways to stay connected. So today, I ask you, friends, to breathe deep, to know thyself, as has been said, and to know that within you is a great light and a river of peace and of joy. It's great being church with you, even in these days. Be at peace, my friends. We'll see you Sunday online, Facebook Live, in worship at 10:30 in the morning, if not before. Blessings to all in these days.